My name is JW. I am a high school social studies teacher. I teach world history, government, econ, and humanities. And I teach general level, honors level, and advanced placement, which is a college preparatory level. My typical day, I have to be to work by 7:30. I have a 45-minute planning period at the beginning of the day, which is supposed to be reserved for possible parent conferences, things like that, meetings, whatever. After that, my high school is on a block schedule, so we only have 4 classes a day. I may have planning period on one day, but I may not. It's every other day with the block scheduling. Classes are 90 minutes long. Every day, I basically battle 2 aspects of my job. There's the class preparation, class work part of it, where I am responsible for creating lessons and instruction to help students learn my curriculum. And the other part is the classroom management part, keeping kids on task, managing the classroom. Some classes are much more difficult and require a much more bigger stick. Some classes would teach themselves, and you really, basically all you got to do is spoon feed them the knowledge. In our current high school setting, unfortunately, the bureaucracy is getting a little bit more and more. What I mean by that is, you can't just stand at the front of the class and lecture every day. They want differentiated instruction. They want projects. They want reading assessments. And by the bureaucracy, unfortunately, we're teaching a lot more to the standardized testing, end-of-year exams, things like that. So there are a little bit more placements, things placed on us by our district, our county, that you have to teach this, you have to teach them how to do this, and so there's some of that in there. Unfortunately for teachers, it's not a, hey, it's 3 o'clock, the bell rang, I get to go home too and start my day. It's, 7:30 to 3 sounds really awesome, but at 3 o'clock, we're planning only every other day. 3 o'clock, I get home. If I'm not coaching a sport, I get home and I've still got a few papers to grade, or I've got a lesson plan to tweak. I've been doing this now for 9 years, so most of my lessons are pretty set, but you always like to improve some facet. Oh, this could have gone better, that didn't go so well last year. So there's always papers to grade or tests to rewrite or something like that. But the homework level's not too bad. The stress level, there is a bit of a stress level, if you're dealing with kind of troublemaker, headache kids every once in a while. But overall, you're working in a profession where you're in a proactive job where you're trying to make students' lives better. And most of the time, you don't get any, made-for-TV movie stories. There's nothing like that every single day or even every year. But once in a while, you come along a case where, you make a true impact in a kid's life. But that's typically a day. It's about an 8-hour workday at school with students, and then after that, you're at home prepping homework or grading tests, something along those lines. Teaching requires a degree either in education or a specialized field. My degree is in education with this emphasis in social studies. I also have a degree in history and a minor in political science. My degree in education enables me to step right into the classroom. Most teachers do not have a degree in education. They have a degree in probably their field or something related to it. And a bachelor's is really, in a lot of states, it's just enough to let you teach. And then what happens is once you're hired as a teacher, you have to complete a certification program within 2 to 3 years. And this allows a lot of people who weren't educated as teachers to enter the classroom. Some of them succeed, some of them do not. So as long as you complete that certification process, they can continue teaching. Aside from just the degree, it does help, of course, to have your background in your field because you've got to teach it to the students. But beyond that, computer skills, basic, email, technology skills, PowerPoint, Excel, Word, basic Office, you need to have those. My classes are even diving into deeper things now. They're using iMovie and Movie Maker. We're using Sound Booth and Photoshop, Premiere Pro. It's a growing growing facet of our career. And our school is almost one-to-one with computers now and students, and they desire us to use computers in the classroom. So basic technology, skills, you got to kind of keep up on that. Also, you got to be able to not be afraid to get in front of the kids and not be afraid to say, I don't know, and make mistakes once in a while and then correct that. So you got to be able to also, with that, build rapport, but also demand their attention. You can't let them run wild. And it doesn't have to be a blunt force thing, but you have to be able to keep kids' attention somehow. So. The best part of my job is the time off. I hate to lead with that, but it is. We get 2 weeks for Christmas, you get a week for spring break, and you get roughly 8 to 9 weeks in the summer. And I travel at every break. My family and I, we pack up and we disappear for weeks at a time in the summer. We try and go somewhere at Christmas and spring break. That is just one of the greatest things. And a lot of people say teachers are overpaid because they have so much time off, but we work during the times we're in session. You are working, and so you work your tail off for that time off, and so that's great. Secondly, just the idea of being in a proactive career. You're at a place where you really can make a difference, and all that is the made for after school special kind of malarkey. It really is. You are making a difference in maybe a few kids' lives, maybe more. So that part of my career, I sleep well at night knowing that I'm trying to do something, to better society with a little generativity of man. I enjoy that a lot. I like my job as well because it's a field that I care about. I love the social sciences, I love history, I love economics and government, so I'm constantly growing as well. I'm always reading up, I'm always studying, I'm always trying to grow and deliver new things to them. Helps me keep current, and keep reading the newspaper, keep reading the internet, because there's always something relevant to history or politics going on that I can bring back to the classroom. There's always more classes to take for me. I can always keep learning. I can always take something else. I can always learn something new. The technology brought in keeps me on the cutting edge of that. I enjoy that. Kind of a neutral part of my job is you are always on. If you are a teacher, you are always on. When you walk out of the grocery store, you can't push out a shopping cart full of beer and a keg of beer. You are always a teacher, and you must always represent yourself as an upstanding character of society. You don't want to catch your kid's high school teacher fall down drunk at the hockey game. You don't want to read about him in the newspaper unless he's receiving an award. But that's a good thing. Our leaders and our teachers should be held to that kind of moral responsibility. At the same time, I want to cut loose and relax on the beach too, but that's a good thing. We should be held accountable to that. The worst part of my job is a combination bureaucracy and pay. Teachers don't make a lot of money, but I didn't get into it for that. It really is one of those things where teaching it's going to require you have to sacrifice that. You're not getting into it for the pay. There's a special place in heaven for teachers because you didn't get paid here, and it's not awful. I'm not trying to say, I live in a cardboard box. You get paid, and you can live well on it if you manage your money right. But you're not going to ever drive a Porsche 911, and you just got to manage your money well. And secondly, what I meant by bureaucracy is there's a lot of stuff handed down through greater channels than No Child Left Behind, things like that are hoops that you have to jump through as a teacher, things that you really don't have control of, even in your classroom. You have to teach this, you have to mandate this, you have to make sure you're teaching this somewhere. And those things get to be a pain in the butt, but you just kind of grit your teeth, you do it, you get through it as fast as you can, and then you go back to teaching the stuff that's fun, and the stuff that you enjoy teaching. And try and make it as enjoyable for them as you possibly can. Anybody can be a teacher. Anybody can teach. Not anybody can teach well. There's got to be a level of commitment and care, a genuine care when it comes to teaching. My advice is only do this if you want to make a difference. In my school and in my field, there are people who get involved because they want to coach football or they want to coach baseball, but they don't, give a lick about educating kids. It's throw a worksheet at them, pop in a video. Dude, that's not teaching. That's killing time. So don't get into this job if that's what you want, because you're not going to enjoy it. There's more to it than that. Get into this job if you really think you want to make a difference in life, if you really think that you have something that can inspire other people, and if you are yourself a motivated person and you love learning, right? If you don't like to read and you don't like to constantly be trying to learn new things, probably not the job for you, because you are constantly growing and you're trying to create the cliche lifelong learners. You want to keep these kids learning as well. And I totally recommend student teaching. A lot of schools don't require student teaching anymore. Student teaching is a huge tool to get into any kind of teaching job, because it'll tell you within 3 days whether or not this is the job you want. And I don't mean teacher observations. Don't sit in the corner and watch the other guy do it. Be the teacher. You need to have that kind of experience in a practicum setting, and that'll teach you more about whether or not you want to be a teacher or not.